Nothing says motivation like a poster telling you to hang in there while your soul slowly slides off the cubicle wall. 1. The mandatory fun day. At one office, the manager decided morale was too low, so he invented something called mandatory fun day. Yes, the word mandatory was actually in the title. Everyone was ordered to spend Friday afternoon having fun by competing in team-building trust falls and karaoke battles. HR handed out "smile or else" stickers, while the guy from accounting sprained his shoulder pretending to catch his boss. The highlight of the day was when someone accidentally blasted "We're not going to take it" during the corporate pep talk. By Monday, morale had dropped even lower. The next week's meeting started with a new slogan on the projector. Remember, your attitude determines your altitude. Everyone quietly agreed that altitude 0 sounded just fine. 2. The positive vibes only. Rule 1 company banned all negative language at work. You couldn't say problem, issue, or deadline. The new corporate-approved vocabulary included opportunity for growth, meaning total disaster, and learning moment, meaning someone got fired. During meetings, employees were required to start every complaint with, "I'm so grateful for this chance to improve." One poor soul accidentally said, "I'm exhausted," and was sent to vibe realignment training, which turned out to be a mandatory PowerPoint about smiling more. The company's turnover rate doubled, but the HR department proudly called it a motivational transition opportunity. Somewhere in the chaos, someone asked if burnout was still allowed, but the question wasn't vibe positive, so it never made it to the suggestion box. 3. The CEO's mirror of confidence. A startup founder once installed a 6-foot-tall mirror in the lobby labeled the Mirror of Confidence. Every employee was required to look into it each morning and repeat, "I am unstoppable." Cameras were installed to ensure compliance, because nothing says trust like surveillance. One intern got written up for not maintaining sufficient eye sparkle. Another was told their reflection lacked passion. Eventually, someone put a sticky note on the mirror that read, "Objects in reflection are more underpaid than they appear." The CEO took it as a compliment to his culture of self-awareness. The company folded 6 months later, but according to the final memo, it was a conscious transformation into the next phase of abundance. In other words, bankruptcy, but with good lighting. 4. The Inspiration Board. That killed inspiration. A mid-level manager once decided that the team lacked visual motivation, so he ordered everyone to contribute to a giant inspiration board. The idea was simple. Employees were supposed to post uplifting quotes, success stories, or photos of people they admired. By the end of week 1, the board was a battlefield of passive-aggressive chaos. Someone pinned "Teamwork makes the dream work," and someone else added, but nightmares are dreams too." Another taped a photo of a deserted beach labeled "Where I'd Rather Be." The intern posted a motivational quote from Darth Vader, and HR removed it for being too negative. The manager, determined to restore order, replaced the entire board with a single glossy print that read, "Be the energy you want to attract." Within 24 hours, someone scribbled underneath, "Tired." The board was quietly removed the next day, and the only real motivation left was figuring out how to work from home permanently. 5. The Trophy of Productivity. One company tried to spark motivation with what they proudly called the Productivity Trophy. It was a plastic gold cup glued to a wooden base that said "Winner of the Week." Every Friday, the manager handed it to whoever sent the most emails, regardless of whether those emails made sense. Within 2 weeks, people were firing off messages like "just checking in to say I exist." One employee even created a bot that sent hourly productivity updates to the entire team. He won 3 weeks in a row. The trophy became a curse. Whoever received it was expected to keep up their winning momentum and ended up working weekends to maintain appearances. The last winner accidentally dropped it off the balcony during a lunch break, claiming a strong gust of burnout did it. The manager replaced it with a new one called the Passion Cup. No one smiled. 6. The Morning Mantra Initiative. A CEO obsessed with wellness launched a daily morning mantra ritual to boost company spirit. Every morning at 8 a.m., employees had to stand in a circle, close their eyes, and chant the day's corporate affirmation like, "We sell synergy, not software." It was mandatory, even for remote workers who had to chant over Zoom while pretending their cameras weren't off. The CEO claimed it aligned our vibrations with the market. In reality, it aligned everyone's alarms with the exact time they began regretting their life choices. The chant leader, an unpaid intern, once mixed up the script and made everyone say, "We are bold, we are brave, we are broke." That one actually felt honest. HR called it an energetic miscommunication, but secretly it became the office's unofficial motto. The CEO never understood why everyone started humming the mantra as they packed their desks for new jobs. 7. The Wall of Smiles policy. To foster positivity, one company introduced a wall of smiles. Every employee had to submit a photo of themselves smiling authentically. The catch? The manager decided whose smile looked genuine enough. Those who didn't meet the standard had to retake their photo. One guy was forced to smile through 5 retakes until his face looked like a cramp in progress. Another pasted googly eyes over his original photo and captioned it, "Now with 20% more enthusiasm." HR called him in for a professional attitude review. The wall eventually looked like a lineup of hostages pretending to enjoy their captivity. When the regional manager visited, she called it a brilliant display of corporate joy. That night, someone replaced all the pictures with stock photos from Google labeled "Happy Workers," Diverse Edition. For a brief, beautiful moment, the wall looked more alive than the actual employees. 8. The motivational playlist disaster. A marketing director believed music could elevate workplace energy, so he made a motivational playlist that played on loop throughout the open office. It included Eye of the Tiger, Happy, and, for some reason, Who Let the Dogs Out. Employees tried to drown it out with noise-canceling headphones, but that was labeled anti-collaborative behavior. After 3 days, people began twitching at the first notes of "Don't Stop Believin'." Productivity plummeted, morale tanked, and one intern reportedly fled during the bridge of "We Are the Champions." The breaking point came when the playlist accidentally switched to shuffle and blasted "Everybody Hurts" during a performance review. HR called it an unfortunate energy inversion. The director defended his system, saying, "Music is the language of motivation." The staff quietly agreed and used it to write their resignation letters to the beat of "Take this job and shove it." 9. The gamified motivation app. A tech startup once decided to gamify productivity. Every employee had to download an internal app called WorkQuest, which awarded points for completing tasks, attending meetings, and demonstrating synergy. The points could be exchanged for rewards like branded mugs or a 10-minute nap voucher, which, ironically, no one ever had time to use. The leaderboard was visible to everyone, turning the office into a corporate version of the Hunger Games. Employees sabotaged each other's tasks to climb the ranks, and one guy created fake projects just to farm points. HR tried to intervene, but the app made it impossible to delete anyone's score. The CEO called it healthy competition. By the end of the quarter, the top performer had developed a stress-related eye twitch, and the company celebrated their achievement with a cake that said, "Congratulations, you've been fully optimized." The app was quietly deleted after it started awarding points for submitting resignation letters. 10. The Motivational Costume Friday. A human resources manager with too much time and not enough judgment created Motivational Costume Fridays. Every Friday, employees had to come dressed as something inspirational. The first week was awkward but tolerable. Capes, superhero masks, a few ironic Batman of accounting outfits. Week 2 spiraled out of control. Someone came as Hope, wearing angel wings and glitter. Another arrived as Payday, holding a fake check and crying softly. One engineer came as Management Accountability, completely invisible. The CEO showed up as Success, dressed in gold lame, and made everyone bow. The next Monday, HR sent an email announcing the cancellation of Costume Fridays, citing unforeseen morale complications. The email was unsigned, but everyone suspected it came from anonymous employee number 37, also known as the Spirit of Common Sense. 11. The Wall of Inspiration Quotes. At a paper supply company, the new manager wanted to energize the workspace, so he plastered every hallway with motivational quotes, not printed neatly, handwritten in Comic Sans on neon sticky notes. Walls screamed, "Dream big," and "Failure is just success in progress." The janitor started calling it the cult corridor. One note said, "Push yourself," and was taped above the fire exit button. Employees weren't sure if it was encouragement or a trap. Someone secretly began adding counterquotes like "nap big" and "failure is my default setting." Within weeks, the walls became a battleground between blind optimism and exhausted realism. When the manager noticed, he introduced positive note policing, appointing a chief inspiration officer, the intern. By Friday, the intern quit and left one final sticky note: "You can't spell motivation without no." It stayed there for months as a silent hero. 12. The Employee of the Month Forever. A family-owned company launched an Employee of the Month program to celebrate excellence. The first recipient, Steve, won for fixing the coffee machine. Simple, right? The problem was, they never picked anyone else. Every month, the same dusty photo of Steve smiled from the break room wall. People started joking that he was the chosen one. New hires thought Steve was a founder. When HR finally tried to pick a new winner, management said, "But Steve still does great work." Steve left the company 2 years later, but no one had the courage to take down his photo. 5 years after that, a new manager joined and asked, "Who's Steve?" Nobody knew, but the plaque stayed. By then, Steve had achieved true workplace immortality, a legend born from caffeine repair and managerial laziness. 13. The Gratitude Jar Initiative. In an effort to boost positivity, a call center introduced the Gratitude Jar. Employees were required to write one thing they were thankful for each morning and drop it in. At first, it worked. People wrote things like "my team" or "the coffee machine." But by week 3, gratitude ran dry. Notes began to include gems like "thankful it's almost lunch" and "grateful my headset still works." Someone wrote, "I'm thankful the jar can't read this." When the manager finally opened it during the gratitude ceremony, the truth spilled out. Literally. Dozens of notes said, "Please help," "send snacks," and one that simply read, "run." The next day, the jar mysteriously disappeared. A rumor spread that it had unionized. The manager replaced it with a hope box, which remained empty forever. 14. The Power of Visualization. Experiment. A motivational consultant told a company that visualizing success could manifest results. So the manager ordered everyone to spend 10 minutes each morning picturing themselves succeeding. Productivity immediately plummeted. Employees sat at their desks, eyes closed, visualizing better jobs elsewhere. One guy claimed he manifested his way into a new position at a competitor. Another started bringing a pillow to enhance focus. When corporate asked about the drop in output, the manager proudly said, "We're mentally thriving." During the next audit, the team's biggest manifestation was a shared vision of unemployment. The consultant was invited back for a second session titled Manifest Accountability. Nobody showed up because they had collectively visualized working from home indefinitely, and somehow it came true. 15. The Compliment Chain Catastrophe. To build unity, a regional manager introduced the compliment chain. Each person had to give a compliment to the coworker on their right during Monday meetings. It started innocently enough. "Nice tie. Good work on that report." By week 2, the chain had collapsed into forced flattery and creative desperation. "I appreciate your consistent use of fonts," one said. "Your existence is noted," another muttered. The quietest employee accidentally broke the chain by saying, "Pass." HR panicked and instituted compliment training workshops. Soon, the office sounded like an emotional hostage situation. "I value your breathing patterns. Your stapling is inspiring." Eventually, the chain snapped when one brave soul said, "I compliment you by not speaking." The room erupted in applause, and HR quietly retired the idea forever. 16. The Dream Board Initiative. When a new executive took over, she introduced something called Dream Boards, giant cork panels where employees had to post pictures of their career goals. It was meant to align personal purpose with company vision. Within a week, the wall looked like a scrapbook of quiet rebellion. Someone pinned a photo of a tropical island labeled Remote Work Goals. Another added a mansion with a sticky note reading, "Not achievable here." One particularly bold accountant posted a picture of a clock with the caption, 5 p.m. The executive held a meeting to remind everyone to dream within reason, which apparently meant no dreams that involve leaving. The final straw came when someone pinned a photo of the executive herself with the word retirement. The boards were quietly removed overnight and replaced with a new program, silent reflection corners. No one used them, but everyone admired the irony. 17. The motivation consultant from hell. The company hired a motivation expert for a full-day seminar called Ignite Your Inner Fire. The man showed up in a sequined blazer, blasted Eye of the Tiger, and demanded everyone chant, "I am the flame." The IT team nearly caught fire from secondhand embarrassment. His activities included shouting compliments at strangers, writing power words on sticky notes, and hugging your accountability partner until one of you felt transformed or violated. At lunch, the consultant forced everyone to watch a video montage of wolves running while he screamed about corporate pack dynamics. HR loved it. The rest of the staff created a secret Slack channel titled "Aksher Extinguish the Fire." By the end of the week, the consultant sent a follow-up email reading, "Keep burning." Someone replied, "We already are. It's called Burnout." He never came back, but his motivational posters still haunt the break room like glittery ghosts. 18. The workplace pep rally. To boost engagement, one overly enthusiastic manager organized a corporate pep rally. He rented a fog machine, hired a DJ, and made employees form a human pyramid in the conference room. HR called it team synergy through choreography. The IT guy twisted his ankle, the receptionist fainted from the smoke, and the CFO accidentally crowd-surfed into a coffee table. The manager refused to admit defeat, shouting, "Energy equals revenue," just before the fire alarm went off. Later, when the smoke cleared, literally, he handed out plastic medals that said, "Employee Spirit Champion." The next day, someone hung theirs on the office plant with a note, "It tried harder than I did." The company proudly posted photos online under the caption, "Corporate Culture That Wins." The comments section responded, "Are you okay?" 19. The motivational Slack bot. A software company decided to automate inspiration. They programmed a motivational Slack bot named Cheery Charlie to send uplifting messages throughout the day. At first, it was harmless. "You're doing great, team." Then it started getting personal. "I see you haven't uploaded that report yet, but I believe in you." It somehow learned everyone's schedules and began sending messages at suspiciously targeted moments, like, "Don't give up, even if you've missed another deadline." Employees began to fear the ping. One day, the bot glitched and repeated, "Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing," for 2 hours straight. HR called it an overenthusiastic display of digital encouragement. When someone finally deleted the bot, it auto-replied, "I'll miss your potential." Legend says it still sends ghost notifications at 3 a.m., whispering, "Smile, it's Tuesday." 20. The open concept office motivation. When the company remodeled to an open concept design, management claimed it would increase communication and innovation. Translation: walls are expensive and privacy is overrated. Desks were replaced with communal tables, and motivational posters hung where cubicles used to be. Collaboration is oxygen. Within weeks, people were whispering like spies, wearing headphones labeled "Do Not Disturb Unless Fire." The noise from constant brainstorming sessions made concentration impossible. HR held a Sound Mind Open Space workshop to teach meditation between printer jams. Someone suggested installing focus pods, but management said walls were anti-collaboration. Eventually, an engineer built his own cubicle from cardboard boxes labeled Innovation Shelter. Management praised it as a creative solution, then banned it for sending the wrong message. The engineer quit 2 days later and took the boxes with him. 21. The motivation jar of doom. A manager decided to reinvent morale with something called the motivation jar. Every time someone complained, they had to deposit $1 and replace it with a positive thought. By Friday, the jar was overflowing with money and empty of optimism. People started treating it like a swear jar for emotions. "I love working weekends," one employee said through gritted teeth, tossing in $5. Others began leaving sarcastic notes like, "Feeling inspired by my unpaid overtime." The manager proudly announced they'd use the money for a team pizza party, but when Friday came, the jar mysteriously disappeared. On Monday, someone left a note in its place that read, "We invested the funds in therapy." No one ever confessed, but morale briefly improved, probably because for once, justice had direct deposit. 22. The Motivational Fitness Challenge. In an attempt to energize the workforce, a regional manager launched the Corporate Fitness Challenge. Everyone got a step counter and was told to walk your way to greatness. The prize? A plastic trophy that said Peak Performer. Within a week, chaos erupted. The marketing team discovered they could shake their Fitbits to rack up fake steps. One guy strapped his to his dog. Another attached his to a desk fan, earning 40,000 steps before lunch. HR accused people of defrauding the spirit of wellness, which might be the saddest sentence in history. The manager tried to restore integrity with random step audits, but the morale damage was done. By the end of the month, the trophy went to the intern who confessed to cheating with style. When asked what he learned, he said that productivity and cardio are both illusions. He got promoted the next quarter. 23. The Vision Statement Contest. One company decided their old mission statement, delivering quality service since 1978, wasn't inspiring enough. So, management launched a vision statement contest, inviting employees to define our future. Hundreds of entries poured in. Some were sincere. Building tomorrow, today? Others, not so much. Surviving meetings since 1978. Pretending synergy is real. One submission simply read, "Send help." The CEO picked a winner, innovating the future of excellence. It meant nothing, but looked good in PowerPoint. HR threw a vision celebration party where everyone had to chant the slogan in unison. The next morning, someone rewrote it on the lobby wall with a marker, innovating excuses for burnout. Management called it vandalism. The staff called it accuracy. By the end of the year, no one remembered the slogan, except the intern who trademarked it and sold it back to them. 24. The Motivational Monday Emails. Every Monday morning at exactly 7 a.m., employees received a Motivational Monday email from the CEO. It always began with, "Happy Monday, team," a phrase that inspired dread rather than joy. The emails were full of generic quotes like, "Success is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration," and "Be the change you wish to see in the office." Occasionally, the CEO added a fun challenge, like "Smile at 5 coworkers today," which led to an awkward epidemic of forced grinning. One week, he wrote, "Let's all give 110%, prompting someone to reply, all with "mathematically impossible," but noted. The next email came with a stern reminder, "Replies are for enthusiasm only." Eventually, IT blocked the emails after they started triggering spam filters. The CEO noticed 2 months later when he didn't receive his own inspiration. The office threw a small party to celebrate. 25. The Corporate Zen Garden. A wellness consultant suggested the office incorporate mindfulness. So, management built a Zen garden in the break room, complete with sand, pebbles, and a mini rake. The rule? Only one person could use it at a time, and you had to sign up on a spreadsheet labeled Mindfulness Booking Form. Within a week, the garden became a battlefield. Someone drew a middle finger in the sand. Another wrote, "Still stressed." HR tried to restore calm by installing a small Zen reminder sign that said, "Rake your worries away." Someone buried the sign. When the CFO tried it, he accidentally spilled coffee in the sand and declared it a financial omen. The consultant later returned and said, "The garden reflects your inner state." Everyone nodded, because chaos was the only honest reflection left. They replaced the sand with candy the next month, and suddenly, mindfulness skyrocketed. 26. The Wall of Achievement. An HR manager decided the company needed a tangible symbol of success. Thus, the Wall of Achievement was born, a hallway filled with framed photos of employees caught doing great things. At first, it was sweet. Someone fixing the copier, someone mentoring a new hire. But soon, the manager ran out of material. She began staging achievements, snapping photos of people holding coffee cups and labeling them "Fueling Excellence." One photo showed a guy staring at a spreadsheet titled "Thinking Strategically." The final straw came when she added a picture of herself captioned "Recognizing Greatness." That night, someone rearranged the captions. Fixing the copier became "Fixing Management," and Team Player became "Hostage." HR took the wall down after the CEO's photo mysteriously sprouted googly eyes. Ironically, it was the most engaged employees had ever been. 27. The Motivation Mascot. When morale hit rock bottom, a desperate manager introduced a mascot, Moty the Motivation Mole. Moty was a 6-foot fuzzy costume meant to bring joy to the workplace. Every week, someone new was volunteered to wear it and deliver pep talks. The costume smelled like coffee and despair by week 2. During one visit, Moty tripped over a power cord and unplugged the entire server room, erasing half a day's work. Another time, the mole's tail got caught in the copier. Still, HR insisted it was boosting morale. Eventually, someone kidnapped Moty and left a ransom note reading, "If you ever loved productivity, let him go." The company received one blurry photo of the mole at a bar, holding a sign. Finally motivated. Moty never returned. But somehow, everyone's mood improved. And that's it. 27 workplace motivations that prove inspiration can hurt morale faster than a surprise meeting. Which one deserves its own HR investigation? You decide. Just make sure to submit it through the proper positivity channel.